This gem of a pass is a well-hidden secret which lies in an isolated valley to the north of the Kliphokkrans and Baviaansberg mountains and follows the natural kloof formed to the south of the Grasberg mountain, which has an altitude of 1,638 meters. It lies on the east-west axis and at 16,1 kilometers is quite a long pass. It's not only long in terms of distance, but in time too. You will need at least 1.5 hours to complete the kloof itself, and that excludes the southern return leg over many kilometers of farm roads. Add multiple farm gates to a fairly dodgy road, which can be in various states of disrepair, and all this adds to the remote and rugged allure of this route. It's best done in a 4x4 or at least a bakkie with good ground clearance and diff lock. Despite the average gradient being an easy 1 in 30, there are some very steep parts, especially near the summit, which get as steep as 1 in 6. During winter and after rain, there are several river crossings to negotiate, none of which are crossed over any bridges. The rewards, however, for this rather tough route are absolutely magnificent. We recommend that you travel this route from east to west as we have filmed it, as there are multiple intersections on the southern side, which makes it fairly easy to get lost. At the start point on the R355, you will come across a closed farm gate marked Uitzig. Make sure you close the gate behind you, and although this looks like a private road, it is publicly accessible. As you head towards the entrance of the kloof, you will notice a big mountain to your left. This is the Quarryberg and has an altitude of 1,266 meters. The first 5 kilometers are flat and easy as the road heads westwards towards the obvious gap in the mountains. Despite the route bearing the name Droelandskloof, which translates into Droelandskloof, it was exceptionally wet on the day of filming, with all the streams flowing, some of them as deep as 0.5 meter. Beyond the second gate, things become more rugged as the kloof narrows. The Droelandsrivier is probably bone dry in summer, but when the rains do arrive, this little stream can cause a lot of damage. The road had suffered damage in various places, and there were signs of major washaways and mudslides where the road had recently been repaired. The road skirts around various small farm dams and arrives at the farm Du Vloer a few kilometers later. At this stage, the gradients are still generally quite comfortable, and although the going is slow by necessity, it is an easy drive. A few kilometers further, a deep ravine appears on the left. This is Maleiskloof, which forms a tributary to the main river. The farm Droeland is just a little further on, where the road changes heading for the first time into the northwest. If you look to your left, you will see a smaller road zigzagging its way up the mountainside. This is a private road which was used to harvest proteas from the upper reaches of the mountain. The road is no longer passable, and it has been severely damaged by floods. Remain on the main road, where the gradient starts getting a little more serious. The final 3 kilometers get as steep as 1 in 6, and in wet weather, this is where you will be engaging 4-wheel drive. Up ahead and to your left lies the massive bulk of the Baviaansberg, with an altitude of 1,946 meters, and is often covered in a mantle of snow in winter, whilst the imposing Grasberg hems in the road on the right. The natural neck straight ahead is the obvious point where the road is heading. If you're using Tracks for Africa software on your GPS, you might notice that this pass is marked by them as the Craig Marshall Pass. We did a bit of research and discovered that Craig Marshall is the founding member of a company called Dual Sport Africa, and he spent a lot of time mapping routes for Tracks for Africa. They named the pass in honor of all his hard work. Craig still has his company and has confirmed this information with us in person. The final part of the climb is stiff, and the road suddenly swings away to the right, and you're on top of the summit plateau at an altitude of 1,226 meters. It gets bitterly cold here in winter, and ahead is a large farm called Wagenmachershoogte. We have produced a second video to help you orienteer yourself to find the way back to the R46 at the top of the Droelandskloof Pass.